Coming to you live from our Auckland Park studios, this is Prime News on SABC 3. Here are the top stories making headlines.
We have the other three that we did not reflect here. They are known. Their names are known. I must say, Honorable Chair and members, these are tenderpreneurs. These are the people that the government has been awarding tenders to.
KwaZulu-Natal National Police Commissioner General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi says that the killing of two popular DJs in Johannesburg in 2022 is linked to the theft of 200 million worth of drugs from the Hawks offices in Potchefstroom in KwaZulu-Natal 4 years ago. President Ramaphosa has accorded former Minister of Police and South Africa's ambassador to France, Nathi Mthethwa, an official funeral category 2. And Parliament's Standing Committee on Public Accounts delving into the crisis at the Road Accident Fund is still no closer to finding out just how bad the situation at the entity is. At the back of those headlines, it has just gone 8 o'clock. A very good evening to you and a warm welcome to Prime News on 3. I am Phala Phala. Great to be in your company this evening. Let's get straight into it. We begin with this. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi says the killing of two popular DJs in Johannesburg in 2022 is linked to the theft of 200 million rands worth of drugs from the Hawks' offices in Potchefstroom in KZN 4 years ago. DJ Somebody was murdered in November 2022 while DJ Vintos was gunned down in March 2022. Mkhwanazi has been testifying at the ad hoc committee probing allegations of political interference and corruption in the criminal justice system.
The deaths of the two DJs were in the spotlight after lawmakers wanted to know about the Big Five criminal and drug cartel. The two alleged masterminds behind the killings are Vusimuzi Ket Matlala and Katiso Molefe.
We have the other three that we did not reflect here. They are known. Their names are known. I must say, Honorable Chair and members, these are tenderpreneurs. These are the people that the government has been awarding tenders to.
Asked why they were not facing drug dealing charges, Mkhwanazi unpacked their investigation method so far.
The murders of these DJs is drug related. When the picture you're going to see when the matters gets to court is that this one thought he's clever by stealing this one's drugs and he starts selling them, and this one then killed him. So not to say the victim is a clean man on drugs. He died because of something that he did wrong to this one.
And the tentacles of the criminal cartel are allegedly also linked to the drug heist in KZN about 4 years ago.
It so happened that case that the drugs were entered into the SAP-13 registers of a police station, booked out the same time, and transported south of KZN to Potchefstroom, and locked into the offices of the PCI that had no one guarding it. And during so-called alleged load shedding at night, there was a break-in a big storage facility. A break-in inside that facility, there were bags of drugs, and there were also other drugs that were not associated with the ones that came, the consignment that came in, and there were firearms, illegal firearms that were also stored in there. But when the break-in happened, the only thing that was stolen was this specific consignment of 200 million rand worth of drugs.
The ad hoc committee will continue its hearings on Thursday with the testimony of National Police Commissioner General Fanny Masemula. Ulelani Philip, SABC News, Parliament.
Former Minister of Police and South Africa's ambassador to France, Nathi Mthethwa, has been granted an official funeral. President Cyril Ramaphosa has accorded Mthethwa an official funeral category 2. The 58-year-old was found dead after falling from the 22nd floor of a hotel in Paris last week. According to French authorities, Mthethwa was reported missing by his wife on Monday evening after she had received a worrying message from him. The repatriation of his remains is set for Friday amid ongoing investigations. Mthethwa is expected to be laid to rest at his Kwambonambi homestead in northern KwaZulu-Natal on Sunday.
We're happy, in fact, to report that the President of the Republic, His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, has declared the funeral as the state funeral, a category 2 state funeral. Also, in the Cabinet of KwaZulu-Natal today, we were considering the communique. As a result, there is now a task team that comprises of national government and also the provincial government and other levels of government that is supposed to make preparations for the funeral. As I've indicated, that is going to be a state funeral.
To this now, it's day 2 of a Parliament Standing Committee on Public Accounts delving into the crisis at the Road Accident Fund, and MPs are still no closer to finding out just how bad the situation at the entity is. Scopa is currently busy with an inquiry following a range of allegations around mismanagement and misuse of funds at the RAF. MPs spent the first 2 days just trying to get an idea of what exactly is going on at the RAF. Today, the Auditor General updated the committee on its findings into RAF, citing a range of concerns. The AG says there has been a lack of responsiveness on the part of the RAF in addressing audit findings. There has also been instability and lack of effective oversight by the Account Authority, as well as inadequate controls on claims payments. These are just some of the reasons why the AG cannot put a figure on how bad the situation at the RAF is.
The long and short, Honourable Chair, is as we've unpacked throughout the entire process, there are a number of steps that are required to be complied with, and those steps also require certain supporting evidence in order for them to be put into a calculation and a process, and that process, for that process to then yield a certain set of results. So in the absence of that having been done by management and also not presented to us as the office of the AG, it becomes difficult.
Thank you for staying with us. Let's continue with this. The 6 South African activists who were part of the global Sumid Flotilla received a hero's welcome at the OR Tambo International Airport in Kempton Park. Israel faced global pressure to release these activists whose vessels were intercepted on their way to Gaza. They took part in the global voyage with their counterparts from over 40 countries to highlight the plight of the Palestinians.
Finally, Global Sumid Flotilla activists from South Africa have touched down on home soil. They were greeted with sheer jubilation at the OR Tambo International Airport.
What we embarked on, we knew that it was not going to be easy. And therefore, while we were in Tunisia, we found ourselves victims to the attacks of the apartheid Israel regime.
These are Zionist occupation forces that know nothing but brutal violence. They came into our room, attacked 2 women outside our door. We're trying to get mattresses into our rooms. They came back with approximately 35 soldiers. We had rifles pointed at our foreheads, backed against the room to take out forcibly 2 of our comrades to solitary confinement.
Activists say they were subjected to harsh treatment. South African authorities say they will look into the matter. They vowed to continue calling for the atrocities in Gaza to end. Khalihle Khumalo, SABC News, Kempton Park.
The Judicial Service Commission, or the JSE, will recommend 5 out of the 6 names interviewed for 2 vacancies at the Constitutional Court to President Cyril Ramaphosa. This as the JSE has concluded their interviews for the 2 vacancies in the Apex Court. The list will be submitted to President Ramaphosa, who will have the final say in terms of Section 174, subsection 4A of the Constitution.
The JSC interviewed candidates for the Constitutional Court yesterday on the 7th and today the 8th. And this is to fill 2 vacancies. We interviewed a total of 6 candidates. And of the 6 candidates, the JSC has compiled a list that will be submitted to the President in terms of Section 174, 4A of the Constitution. And the list is of 5 candidates that we're submitting to the President, and these are in no particular order: Judge N. Dambuza, Advocate A.C. Dotson SC, Judge G.G. Hussein, Judge K.M. Savage, and Judge A. Skeppers.
The Department of Basic Education says the stipends for education assistants and general school assistants have been released following delayed payments to beneficiaries at the end of September. The Education Department, together with the Department of Employment and the Industrial Development Corporation, made the announcement during a joint media briefing in Pretoria.
Thousands of education and general school assistants can expect their stipends to be processed, easing the financial strain they have been experiencing. Stipends for some of those employed as part of the Basic Education Employment Initiative were not paid on time for the month of September.
We want to close gaps. We've identified gaps. We are closing those gaps. The current, this is not the first payment. We have done some payments before. We started in June.
The Department of Basic Education has promised consequence management for the administrative challenge which caused the delay.
I'm confident that the steps that I've taken around consequence management are sufficient, and that we will make sure that this does not happen again, especially with our systems.
The department has vowed to tighten government controls in the administration of the Basic Education Employment Initiative. Balentle Mthethwa, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Thank you for staying with us. We shift our focus to this now. The gold price hit a record high, surpassing $4,000 an ounce mark as investors sought safe haven assets amidst mounting global economic and geopolitical uncertainty. The price is also driven by expectations of further interest rate cuts by the U.S. Federal Reserve, with experts pricing in the 25 basis points cuts in October and December.
Gold broke through the $4,000 an ounce mark as investors fled to safety amid global economic uncertainties and a dovish Federal Reserve outlook.
The yellow metal has been getting a lot of boost from the likes of a weaker US dollar, given that we expect interest rates to go down in the US, and also the fact that it has been benefiting for the longest time from the likes of central bankers buying more of gold to add to their reserves. And ordinarily we know that gold itself gets to be used as a hedge against inflation or uncertainty.
$4,000 an ounce is 2.2 million rand a kilogram. Never have we seen a gold price like that before. And although the gold mining industry in South Africa has been a sunset industry for the last 20 years, through Harmony and a few other players, it still continues to contribute to jobs and to the economies. And so that on its own is fantastic for South Africa.
The yellow metal was trading at $4,044 an ounce in late afternoon trade. Gloria Safakomosi, SABC News, Johannesburg.
The trial over the theft of more than $500,000 at President Cyril Ramaphosa's Phala Phala farm heard testimony relating to the money laundering charge against one of the accused. Emmanuel David and siblings Florina and Dilnasho Joseph are on trial at the Mudimula Regional Court.
Floriana and Delinasho Joseph face 3 charges each relating to the theft and break-in. Labeled the mastermind, Emanuela David faces an additional charge of money laundering. The state called witnesses to testify about the money laundering charge. A dentist testified that David paid about 250,000 rand to feed dental jewelry. David's attorney argued that the dentist posted videos of David without his consent.
My instructions are that you did your posting on Instagram without his consent, that verbal consent. And he reprimanded you that, my man, don't do this, remove it.
The witness, however, maintained that David had consented to being filmed and posted. Another witness testified that David attempted to buy a vehicle for about 400,000 rand with stacks of US dollars. The witness also saw the accused with large sums of US dollars on that day. The media has been ordered not to identify state witnesses. Biman Baloyi, SABC News, Modimolle.
And that's how we wrap up this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. For now, it's over to the weather desk for the latest. Until next time, good night, God bless, Phala.
Thank you very much, and a very warm welcome to the weather desk. It was a fine day over the western parts of South Africa today, as you can see according to our latest satellite images, but a band of thunder showers over the northeastern corner of the country with some severe storms expected in some areas of South Africa and Limpopo, and even spreading to the Mpumalanga province with only a slight chance of rainfall over KwaZulu-Natal for tonight. And tomorrow we can still expect a similar weather pattern in the afternoon, a 60% probability of thunder showers over the southern parts of Limpopo into the western bushveld of the northwest province, throughout the Gauteng province and to the Highveld region of the Mpumalanga province at 60% probability. Otherwise, isolated rainfall throughout KwaZulu-Natal, and the morning will start off with some fog patches over the south and eastern escarpment of South Africa. Level 1 warning of some severe storms throughout Limpopo and to the Highveld of the Mpumalanga province for tonight. And these conditions will persist into the northwest and even reaching the northern parts of Limpopo, and veld fires can be expected over the western bushveld and towards the western parts of South Africa. And temperatures are very mild overnight in Sutherland, dropping to a minimum of 3, a minimum of 11 in Cape Town, 14 in Uppington, and over Mahikeng, we're expecting a minimum of 21 for Musina and a minimum of 20 degrees over the city of eThekwini. And a pleasant day for KwaZulu-Natal tomorrow afternoon in Mnambiti and Richards Bay in the North Coast will reach around 27 degrees, 28 in Johannesburg, and a high of 35 degrees over Springbok. In the coastal areas over the Northern Cape and towards Cape Town, we're expecting a pleasant day with a maximum of 30 degrees later on in the afternoon. And that is all from the weather desk.